There's been heavy fighting again in eastern Ukraine. The pro-Russian rebels have managed to push the Ukrainian armed forces out of the airport that they were holding in the city of Luhansk, which is a major rebel stronghold. It's been in rebel hands for some time now, but the Ukrainian military were holding on to the airport. Not anymore. Ukraine's military said after fierce fighting, their troops had withdrawn from the airport. It's another big gain for the rebels. Also here in Donetsk, there's been fighting around Donetsk airport. Again, the pro-Russian rebels trying to push the Ukrainian armed forces out of their location at the airport. The rebels have really been making some major gains here in eastern Ukraine and in the southeast of the region as well, pushing out towards the key port city of Mariupol, as you just mentioned. Now, Kiev is saying that their losses, their military losses here in eastern Ukraine are very much because of the support that they say the rebels are getting from Russian troops. They're very much pointing the finger of blame towards Russia.
Russia and Vladimir Putin started this war. The Russian regime bears responsibility for the war in Europe, for killing our people, for stealing Crimea, for torturing millions of Ukrainians. All these were done because of the desire to restore the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union has collapsed, and the one who tries to restore any empire will fall down as its predecessor.
And Kate, we're hearing some pretty strong comments from both sides. How does that bode for peace talks in Belarus?
Well, yes, we've seen these preliminary peace talks taking place today in Minsk. It's certainly a small step towards progress, but it's going to be a long process. The pro-Russian rebels laid out some key demands ahead of the talks. In many ways, they seem to be lessening their demands. Before the talks, they said they would be willing to remain part of Ukraine, but they do still want greater autonomy. Previously, they'd been asking for full independence. So it does seem that they're stepping back from that demand, but they're also calling for Kiev to stop all of its military operations here in eastern Ukraine. It's very unlikely that Kiev is going to agree to these demands, namely because it would still put the pro-Russian forces in charge of this part of the country, and that's something Kiev seems very unwilling to agree to. However, the rebels will certainly be hoping that their recent military successes in the east of the country will weigh on Kiev's decision. Nevertheless, this is going to be a long process. It's highly unlikely that peace will be achieved quickly. And what we're expecting is to see that this is just the first of many sessions of negotiation as they try and hammer out a peace deal and end the conflict here in eastern Ukraine.
All right, Kate Parkinson reporting live from Donetsk.